Oh, man. I didn't think we'd be talking about this. I really didn't, but here we are. Let's dive in to one of the teams that was recently eliminated in this year's Stanley Cup Playoffs first round. Nikita Kucherov, out of the Tampa Bay Lightning. You see, last time we spoke about Kucherov in his own dedicated video, it was about a week ago, when we had spoken about the Canadiens after game number 2. We spoke about Nikita Kucherov and how he's a villain, a James Bond villain, if you wanted to go out there and say, because this is a guy that knows how to get under the skin of his opponents. He knows how to get under the skin of the opposing team's fans. In Montreal, whenever Kucherov touched the puck, he got booed as all heck. And even though Canadiens fans booed the hell out of this guy, we also do know that Nikita Kucherov thrives off of that. He's like a wrestling heel. He's like MJF, just without the mouth. Nikita Kucherov was the ultimate villain, and it's why we spoke about him in this James Bond-esque, antagonistic kind of way. But I guess a James Bond villain was the wrong way to think about it. Because it turns out, Nikita Kucherov himself can probably be seen as Mr. 007 himself. Nikita Kucherov in Game 7's 0 goals, 0 assists, and 7 games. Talk about a special agent, eh? Yeah, that's what we're talking about with Nikita Kucherov. Now, I get it. Opening the video up with just a statistic is not the strongest way to dive into it, so let's pull out even bigger chops, shall we? Let's head over onto the May 4th episode of Spectres Hockey, posted by Lal Richardson on spectreshockey.net, link in the description, because within this article is the latest from Pierre LeBrun, and the idea of a Nikita Kucherov trade. Let's dive into it here. Courtesy of The Athletic, Pierre LeBrun pondered what's next for the Tampa Bay Lightning after their 4th consecutive first-round playoff exit. LeBrun wondered if GM Julien Brisebois would consider trading Nikita Kucherov. The 32-year-old superstar winger was held pointless by the Canadiens in the final 3 games of the series, and his frustration was apparent throughout said series. Kucherov has a year remaining on his contract and will be eligible for UFA status next July. He has a 10-team no-trade list on his current deal. Pierre LeBrun believes the Lightning's priority is to sign Kucherov to a contract extension. However, he pointed out that Brisebois hasn't been afraid to make a big move in the trade market. Now, Spectre's note, Lal Richardson chimes in, the only way I see the Lightning peddling Kucherov is if the two sides can't agree to a contract extension this summer. It would be a significant roster change, representing another shift away from the core that won back-to-back cups earlier in the decade. Just imagine that, eh? First, Stamkos is gone. Second, Hedman gets hurt. Third, Nikita Kucherov? This guy could be leaving too? For what it's worth, Nikita Kucherov is signed on till the end of next season, making $9.5 million a year. A contract that has been quite worth it for the Tampa Bay Lightning ever since 2019-20. Make no mistake, back in that time frame, the guy was a 100-plus point masterclass winger, and even though cap hits were still pretty much lower in that era, Nikita Kucherov was one of these guys where it's like, yeah, he's making 9.5. Of course he's making 9.5. Why would he not be making 9.5 when he's able to do what he does on the ice? And now, as the years have gone on, with him getting more and more points, I mean, the guy had 130 points this season, 121 last season, 144 the year before that. This is a player whom, if he was a free agent, he'd be getting 17, 18, 19 million easy. The fact that he is in Tampa, no state tax, and the fact that he's making 9.5, it's pretty good. It's one of the best contracts in the league, you can say, especially when you factor in just the amount of benefit Tampa has because of it. They can sign all these guys to big money deals, and then they can keep them all and have great teams that go back to back to back in the Stanley Cup Finals. and they couldn't afford to pay Steven Stamkos because they thought that that guy was too old. Kucherov, on the other hand, this is a guy who, despite the fact that he is Mr. 007, the real secret special agent in Game 7s, despite the fact that you have fans going out there and saying that, yeah, I don't want to hear this guy's name with McDavid and McKinnon discussions ever again. This is still a very talented piece, and obviously, if you were to put yourselves in the shoes of Julien Brisebois, the question is, do you keep Kucherov or do you trade him away? The answer is you keep him. You do everything in your power to make sure a guy like this does not want to depart your organization. If you have Kucherov, you have Vasilevsky, you have Gensel, you have Hagel on your team, anything is possible. Even though you go out there and you lose in the first round 4 years in a row. Here's the funny part about Kucherov, too. The guy was held pointless in games 5, 6, and 7, but he still was just under a point per game in the entire series. He had 6 points in 4 total games played, and that pretty much indicates just the level of talent that Nikita Kucherov is able to possess. He got frustrated by Jakub Dobeš. We had already spoken about how Dobeš said that, yeah, you're scared. That's the old chirp that he tossed Nikita Kucherov's way. And maybe there was some sort of truth to that. Who really knows? But with that said, even though Nikita Kucherov is as talented as he is, there still are some folks that are bringing up whether or not he is all that. Kajula, went out there and said this: it's not just about the Game 7s with Nikita Kucherov, he also didn't have any points in 5-6 either. He generally ghosts in the back halves of series and in potential clinching and elimination type games. Let's take a look at some of the other series that the Tampa Bay Lightning had. Let's go back over to 2019-20, where they defeated the Dallas Stars in 6 games. Okay, Kucherov had a bunch of points in that one, but still, nothing in Game 7 because there was not a Game 7. Okay, that's fine. 2021, they had a 5-game win over the Montreal Canadiens in the finals. Nikita Kucherov, 0 points in Games 4 and 5. Against the Islanders in that 2021 campaign, though, a 7-game series there, 1-0 victory, shutout for Andrei Vasilevsky. I don't even know what the purpose is of going into the past and looking at these old games here. Yanni Gourde scored the 1-0 series clinching goal, but Nikita Kucherov is a guy that is just so gosh darn valuable that if there is even some sort of an idea of him being a trade option this summer, if the Tampa Bay Lightning cannot agree to an extension with him right away, then it gives us the right to talk about him, right? I would imagine Nikita Kucherov is not intent on getting less money per season. I mean, what else is there for him to play for at this point? Look at all the awards that this guy's gotten. Look at all the hardware, all the Stanley Cups, the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross 3 times. He has been so good, this guy, all he has left to earn is his money. So I would imagine if he does get traded and if Pierre LeBrun's idea comes true, he's probably going to a team that has no state tax as well, right? Cue the Nikita Kucherov to Vegas speculation, but I would assume that's the only way it makes sense. I don't think Kucherov's coming to a Canadian team, for example. He's got a 10-team no-trade list, so you would probably assume all of the Canadian teams are on it. That leaves 3 other American teams possible for him to get traded to. There are a number of teams that would make sense. I'm just saying, having Kucherov with Ovechkin or Kucherov with Eichel, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Kucherov and Marner, get the birthday boy together and give him one of the best wingers to play alongside of. Not like Marner isn't one of the best wingers ever either, but still. With that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Pierre LeBrun's pondering here on the idea of a Nikita Kucherov trade? Is it actually possible? Is it something that you think is realistic? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. What are the odds that Kucherov gets moved? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.